Hello, I'm Jenny Fern and welcome to my library. I'm a chaotic neutral mechanical engineer who's really into permaculture and wants to talk about books. So let's talk about books. So today I want to put forth a TBR for myself in this month of May. Can't believe it's already May. It's almost going to send me into a spiral, but that's okay. So today I want to do a mashed potato May TBR. This is a reading challenge put forth by Ariel and Raylene of the Books Unbound podcast. I really enjoy Books Unbound as one of my big sources of bookish content, and I highly recommend that you check it out if you haven't already. They have this concept of a mashed potato book, which is a book that you were really excited for and you have put off reading. The analogy is mashed potatoes are something that are best eaten warm and hot and fresh. And because they're so good, maybe in your Thanksgiving meal, you eat the other things, leaving the mashed potatoes for last. This is extremely relatable to me. I've changed my behavior, but I did used to save all of my favorite foods for the last thing to eat. And I have changed my behaviors because it made sharing food extremely fraught for me. And because I would save the thing that I wanted the most for the last thing. And at that point, people might want to share food with me and then I'd be super possessive. It's basically if you have a book that you have been itching to read, but you are putting off and you're putting off, and you should just read the damn book. So I have a few. I've recently discussed these in my TBR for books that I really want to read this year, and quite a lot of it is because they're mashed potato books. And let's go through what I've selected for myself. I have one extra because it's kind of like a mashed potato vlog. It's holding me up from posting this video that I started working on months ago. So I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. The first book that I have is The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valente. And I would like to read the book summaries for these books as well. September is a girl who longs for adventure when she is invited to fairyland by a green wind and a leopard. Well, of course she accepts, mightn't you? But fairyland is in turmoil, and it will take one 12-year-old girl, a book-loving dragon, and a strange and almost human boy named Saturday to vanquish an evil Marquess and restore order. Not since Oz has there been a land or a cast of characters so rich and entrancing. I have read quite a lot of the Oz books. I own quite a lot of the Oz books. I've read maybe 8 of the Oz books. I really do enjoy them, so that makes me even more excited to read this. I first saw this on BookTube in maybe 2016, 2015, really long time ago, and since then I've wanted to read it. And I just picked up a copy of it not too long ago, so now I actually own the book, but I would quite like to read this. This hasn't been on my TBR for an extremely long time, but it is one of those books that I really want to read this year. That is God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater. And I'm just realizing now that this is one of the books that Ariel really, really recommends. So maybe it's fitting that I'm reading this in Mashed Potato May. This is a book by Kurt Vonnegut. Kurt Vonnegut is one of my favorite writers. I've read 5 books by him, and Cat's Cradle is one of my all-time favorite books. It unlocked something that I didn't know could be unlocked, and I loved it so much. So plot summary time, I suppose. God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater is a comedic masterpiece. Elliot Rosewater, drunk, volunteer fireman, and president of the fabulously rich Rosewater Foundation, is about to attempt a noble experiment with human nature, with a little help from writer Kilgore Trout. This is a recurring character in the Kurt Vonnegut sphere. The result is Vonnegut's funniest satire and etched-in acid portrayal of the greed, hypocrisy, and follies of the flesh we are all heir to. We are all heir to is a tongue twister. So I'm so excited to read this. One of the reasons why I've selected this as well is because it is from one of my favorite authors, and I have not read from Kurt Vonnegut in at least a year. So I would love to read more from him. The last book that I read from Kurt Vonnegut was Galapagos, and again, that was over a year ago. Similarly, I have another favorite author that I haven't read from in over a year, and that is Karen Russell. Karen Russell wrote Swamplandia, which is one of my favorite books of all time, and I've also read 2 of her other short story collections, Orange World and Vampires in the Lemon Grove. So this is another short story collection. This is St. Lucy's Home for Girls Raised by Wolves, and I have had this as something that I've wanted to read for quite a long time, and I don't know why I'm putting it off, so I am officially going to try to tackle this month. I know that this is short story, so the plot summary might be, you know, not exactly impactful compared to that for a novel, but it says, in these 10 glittering stories, the best-selling author of Swamplandia takes us deeper into the ghostly and magical swamp of the Florida Everglades. Here, wolf-like girls are reformed by nuns. A family makes their living wrestling alligators in a theme park. Oh my god. A lot of the plot of Swamplandia is following a family that has like an alligator show. So I wonder if we'll get like some initial conception of those people, those characters. And little girls sail away on crab shells. Filled with inventiveness and heart, St. Lucy's Home for Girls Raised by Wolves is a dazzling debut of blazing original voice. I did not realize that this was her debut. The last book that I have, I've never heard anybody talk about, and isn't by a favorite author or anything, but the plot summary I have always found extremely intriguing. I bought this at a bookstore. I don't usually go to bookstores, but I was traveling. I was in Southern California, and there was this bookstore in Los Angeles near the airport, and it had both used and new books. I actually picked up a copy of The Word for World is Forest by Ursula K. Le Guin at the same time as I picked up this, and it was the cover that really drew me to it. I love needlework, and just having like a cross-stitched cover was very compelling. So this is translated. Oh, I should say this is All in Darkest Children by Alhird Bakarovic. In a camp at the edge of a forest, children are trained to forget their language through drugs, therapy, and coercion. Alicia and her brother Avi are rescued by their father, but they give him the slip and set out on their own. In the forest, they encounter a cast of villains: the hovel-dwelling grandma, the language traitor McFinney, the border guard and murderer Bannock, the bogle, and a wolf. A manifesto for the survival of the Belarusian language and soul, Alendarka's Children, is also a feat of translation. Winner of the English Pen Award, the novel has been brilliantly rendered into English from the Russian and Scots from the Belarusian. I love language. I did not get a minor in linguistics when I was in college, but it was only because I had a required course that conflicted with a required course for my mechanical engineering degree. But I did take the required number of courses in linguistics in order to get a minor. I just couldn't take one of the actual required courses. I almost have a minor in linguistics. Now, for the last book that's on my TBR, and this is more for that mashed potato video or mashed potato reading vlog, I had embarked on another reading vlog inspired by my ancestry. I had done this research with various different ancestors, and I was finding any sort of written work or something that I could read from associated with them for this reading vlog, and one of them was a memoir of Sherman's historical raid, because I found evidence that an ancestor of mine was a part of Sherman's march upon the sea, that he was a message bearer working for this guy, H.V. Boynton. This man, H.V. Boynton, had written a work called Sherman's Historical Raid, the Memoirs in Light of the Record, a review based on compilations from the files of the War Office. And this is a criticism and like a historical correction from this man's perspective of General Sherman's memoirs. So as you can imagine, it's quite dense, and I did not finish reading it, but this is the final item that I would like to present to you all. So this whole month is going to be associated with the concept of mashed potato May. I will be putting out this video explaining my TBR first, and then throughout the month we will be exploring more. So I will do a reading vlog reading these books, and I will also finally, hopefully, finish that reading vlog of my ancestry-based reading. So that's what this month is about. It's about exploring the works that you have always wanted to explore and finishing the things that are kind of lingering for you. That is all I have. I'm not trying to set myself up to fail, so I'm not going to pick out any more than these 4 books. If I do end up getting through more than these, I will add on some more books that are also a part of this mashed potato theme. So I hope you join me this May. If you would like to, please subscribe and you will see the videos as they come out. If you enjoyed this, please consider sharing it with a friend who you think would also enjoy it. Please also put in the comments, what are your books? What are your books that are mashed potato books? Whether or not you're planning on participating this May. Consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed this, and I will be back again soon.